Hello. Today in this tutorial I'm going to be explaining how to create and generate some very quick city form structures, and these kind of structures can be quickly developed to test factors such as sunlight analysis or wind analysis. 3dsmax has a bunch of these modifier tools to kind of very quickly adjust the form and its parameters. And I'm going to demonstrate kind of 3 different examples of different iterations of how we can use these modifiers to create some interesting city kind of towers. So I'm going to start by, for the first iteration, just drawing up a pyramid. And I'm going to draw him kind of nice and tall there. Maybe I might just move this along a little bit more in the plane. And maybe I might just even out the parameters of the size of it. Maybe I might make it 100 meters. And I'm happy with the amount of width and depth and height of segments. This will be necessary just when you're adding the twist modifier, because I want a bit of twist to the kind of shape. So I'm just going to begin twisting it, and once you're happy with the kind of level and the value, maybe I might do a little less. Then I might add a very quick kind of bend modifier, and you can, in this one, just adjust the angle and direction. So that one you can see that I've just adjusted the angle, and maybe I can bend it back a little bit in the direction of it. So now I want to replicate this same thing, and I want to boolean them together to have this kind of splitting effect in the geometry. So I'm just going to go Control V and just copy that. And with that copy, I'm just going to right click onto rotate, and I'm just going to rotate it in the Z axis 180 degrees. Cool. So now I've got this kind of splitting effect, and I want to join these two. So I'm going to use the Boolean tool, and I'm just going to add operands, and I want to union the two geometries together. So I'm just going to select my other one. So as you can see, you can create a very, very quick form using these modifiers, this stacked kind of group of modifiers. So for a different example, we maybe might approach using the box, and maybe I might just draw a basic box. And I'll use the kind of similar parameters as to what I did with the pyramid. And I kind of want to have, with this box, two like kind of big holes in the middle of it. So, and I can create this using the Boolean function again. So I want to create 2 boxes once again. Cool. So now that I have these 2 boxes in, I want to boolean them from this form. So I'm just going to go back to my original box and just go boolean. And instead of doing the union this time, I want to use the subtract. And I'm just going to select the box as one subtraction and then another one. So as you can see, it creates kind of this, this hole in the middle of the building, which was what I was after. And I kind of want this to be a bit more of a smooth kind of effect on the surface. So I want to go for turbo smooth. And maybe for this one, I need to increase the amount of segments. Maybe that worked. Change back on iteration. There we go. So now we've got that kind of turbo smooth effect. Maybe I might even do a few more segments just so it kind of creates a better effect for each of the sides. Yeah, that's way better. So that is another kind of example of how you can use the Boolean tool and also a turbo smooth modifier to create another kind of interesting form. And the final kind of iteration I'm going to quickly demonstrate is one just using an edit poly in 3ds Max. So I'm just going to again create a box. Maybe I'll just do those same parameters once again. And I'm just going to do the modifier edit poly. And it comes with a whole bunch of options to edit your surfaces. I'm just going to make sure, I might make that, no, I'm happy, I'll see how I go with the 10. And you can either use this kind of selection tool to select certain areas which you might want to adjust, but you can also use the soft selection, which allows you to kind of select certain aspects and softly kind of adjust them. So maybe I might use the surfaces, and you can see how it highlights that selected amount of surfaces. Maybe I might start just grabbing a surface and maybe just pulling it out a little bit. And you can start to create a very quick kind of form using this modifier tool. So it's a bit more kind of bubbly and rounded. And then I'm just going to add a twist modifier to that. And I'm going to start twisting that. And then maybe I might also add a turbo smooth. And might have that above that. There we go. Cool. So as you can see, you can create very, very quick kind of forms and iterations of different kind of ideas which you can test with 3ds Max. And using the modifiers, you can create some very interesting iterations which you can then test with different environmental factors, or even just model from following with your projects. So that is all for this tutorial, and thanks for watching.